सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्या संप्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषिभ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। So we were looking at the Avidya Sutra and its explanation. The Upanishad itself is giving that. Okay. So the Avidya Sutra essentially states that the one who worships the Devatas as beings who are other than oneself, okay, they are all separate from me. With that idea, one worships the Devatas. Means that person then becomes Devanam Pashuhu. He is like a Pashu or an animal for the Devas, because the Devas are all enjoying whatever rituals he is doing, whatever sacrificial offerings he is making to them. So they are enjoying the whatever effort this Manushya is putting in. And such a person is an avidwan. He is an ignorant person because he doesn't know oneself. He doesn't know oneself as Brahman, essentially. So that part of 1.4.10 is called Avidya Sutra. Then afterwards, the Upanishad started talking about Varna Srishti, because for doing karma, the main criteria is Varna and Ashrama Dharma. So you do a particular karma based on your Varna and Ashrama only. So those are the main qualifications or criteria. So the Upanishad started talking about Varna Srishti among the Devas. So initially in 1.4.6 itself it was said that Agni was created. And later on other Kshatriya Devatas. So Agni is considered to be a Brahmana Devata. Later on Kshatriya Devata creation and all was talked about. Okay, if you see here in the 1.4.11, like Indra, Varuna, etc., they are all Somaha, Rudraha, Parjanyaha, these are all Kshatriya Devatas. Then Vaishya Devata Srishti also was talked about. Okay, Vasavaha, Rudraha, Adityaha. So all the Devatas which are in groups, they are all Vaishya Devatas. Okay, because there are 8 Vasus, 12 Adityas are there, 11 Rudras are there, 13 Vishwe Devas are there, or Vishwe Devas are innumerable. Like that also it is considered. And finally, the Shudra Devata is the Pusha. Pusha is the Devata, or Pushan is the Pratipadikam. Normally, Pusha means Surya is called Pusha because Surya also is a nourisher, correct? Without sun, there is no photosynthesis on the earth, there is no food essentially. So that's why sun is called a nourisher, because the Pusha means the one who nourishes. So the Surya Devata is normally called sun, but here Prithvi is called Pusha because Prithvi also is a nourisher, correct? So like this, all the different Devatas with different Varna. So the Varna Srishti amongst the Devatas was shown. And then even afterwards, what interestingly, the Kshatriya is more powerful. And wherever there is power, if there is no responsibility, correct? With great power comes greater responsibility. And if that is not there, then a person can become a dictator. Okay, can then afflict others. It's always a possibility. Power can always be misused. Therefore, even though all these devatas are there who belong to different varnas, but the Kshatriya can become ugra, can even become cruel. Therefore, you require someone or something to control the Kshatriyas also. Okay, and that's what the special Shreyo Rupam, Dharmam was created. Atya Srijata. So this also we saw last time. So Dharma as a Devata also we have to look here, because Dharma Devata is there. In fact, the Kula Devata of my maternal grandfather is actually Dharma Devata. We have a temple for the Dharma Devata in a village near the village where I am living right now. They come every year and do some Aradhana, because Kula Devata Aradhana is a very important thing. In even though people live all over the world and all that, they at least contribute to it every year, or whenever they come to India, they come to the Kula Devata temple, because that is the temple in which all your ancestors also have worshipped, correct? So there's something special is there. It may not be a big temple like Madurai or the Tirunelveli, also there's an Nellaiyappar temple. Maybe a very small temple, but still it is special for the family. So that tie with the Kula Devata is very much there even today, I think. Even among NRIs and all that, it is there, which is an important thing, I think. So anyway, here I went on a tangent. So the Dharma is created. Dharma here can be considered as another Devata also. Okay, Dharma Devata is the one who also controls even the Kshatriya Devatas. Like that we can take. So with the help of Dharma, even a weak person can take on the stronger one. That is the idea here. This also we saw. Abaliyan Durbalataraha Baliyamsam Atmanaha Balavattarapi Ashamsate Kamayate Jetum Dharmena. So the person who is weaker can take on the stronger one and even desire to win over him. How? Through dharma, dharmena balena, to the strength of this dharma. Okay, so yatha loke rajnya sarva balavattamena kutumbikaha. So even a normal family man can even take on the king if dharma is there on his side. Okay, because the king is all powerful. At least nowadays the democratically elected people, they have some checks and balances, they say, but even that is doubtful. But still you can go to Supreme Court and all that, correct? So here nowadays Supreme Court can be taken as something, if it is upholding justice really, then it can be considered as a manifestation of dharma. So through Supreme Court you can even take on the ruler, president or prime minister and all that, if the Supreme Court is really powerful. But anyway, so the idea here is dharma is the one which has to guide even the Kshatriyas. Everything has to be in keeping with dharma. Otherwise, there will be only chaos in the society. There cannot be any order in the society. Therefore, dharma is the greatest thing. So that's what here it says. Tasmat siddham dharmasya sarva bhalavattaratvat sarva niyantritvam. So dharma is the one which controls everybody. Okay, because it is the strongest, because it even controls the Kshatriyas. Yo vai sa dharmaha vyavahara lakshanaha laukikaihi vyavahriyamanaha satyam vai tat. So here now Bhashyakara is giving here yo vai sa dharmaha satyam vai tat tasmat satyam vadantam and all this. So this part he is giving the bhashya here. Yo vai sa dharmaha satyam vai. So here dharma means what? He says vyavahara lakshanaha laukikaihi vyavahriyamanaha, means though the dharma in the sense that whatever is the basis for one's interaction in this world, correct? It is the matrix of values which forms the basis of our interaction with each other in the world. So when you are interacting in the world, when you are transacting in the world, dharma is the basis, or at least dharma should be the basis of our interactions. And that itself is called satyam. And satyam here, again, what is the exact meaning of satyam? Because the word satyam can come in different meanings in different places. Satyam can come as an ontological term. Ontological term means a term which talks about the status of the reality of something. So for example, I can say clay is satyam, pot is mithya. So when I am talking about satyam and mithya, mithya means something which has dependent existence. That which does not exist on its own is called mithya. And that which exists always in the same form, that which never changes its nature, that in fact which is free of even space-time alone is really satyam. But relatively, the clay is satyam compared to the pot. The clay is the substance, and pot is not a substance, really speaking. If you touch the pot, you are really touching the clay. So there, satyam, mithya, the word satyam is used differently. But here satyam means what? Bhashyakara gives the meaning. Satyam iti yata shastrarthata. So whatever is in accordance with what is said in the Shastra, that is Satyam. And what he says further, Sayeva Anuštiyamanaha, that alone is to be followed also by everybody. Correct? You are supposed to follow or do things according to what is said in the Shastra. You are supposed to do things according to that. And that only is known as Dharma again. When you are following it, it is called Dharma. When you know it from the Shastra, it is called Satyam. When you follow the same thing, it is called Dharma. So Dharma namna bhavati. So it is with the name Dharma. And further he explains that Shastrarthatvena Nyayamanastu Satyam bhavati. So when you know whatever is said in the Shastra, correct? So that knowing that is called Satyam, he says. So Nyayamanastu Satyam bhavati. So whatever is there said in the Shastra, the meaning of the Shastra, how one has to lead one's life, how one has to interact, what all one has to do on a day-to-day basis based on one's varna and ashrama, all that is there in the Shastra. Knowing that itself is Satyam. And Yasmadevam Tasmat. So therefore what? This being so, therefore, Satyam Yatha Shastram. So whatever is there according to the Shastra, or knowing whatever is there in the Shastra is Satyam. Okay, Yatha Shastram Vadantam, Satyam Vadantam. So here it is said, Tasmat Satyam Vadantam. That's what Bhashyakara is commenting here. So Satyam means Yatha Shastram. Again, he is reinforcing the meaning. You should not mistake Satyam for something else. So whatever is there in the Shastra, Satyam. So whatever is said as Satyam, in fact, Satyam Vadantam, Vyavahara Kale Ahuhu. So when you are doing Vyavahara, you can say, this is Satyam. Okay, whoever is Samipastha means those who are bystanders, those who are talking with each other, some people. Ubhaya Vivekajnaha, those who know about both this Dharma and Satyam. So that means those who know how to behave in the Loka, and also those who know what is said in the Shastra, they use these words interchangeably. That is the idea here. So they say, whatever is said in the Shastra, they call it as Dharma. And conversely, when you are behaving according to Shastra also, they call it Satyam. Okay, so Dharmam vadati iti, prasiddham laukikam nyayam vadati iti. So, whatever is said in the Shastra, which is Satyam, is also said as Dharma by the people who know both, really. Okay, those who have analyzed both, those who have discerned, those who have discriminative knowledge. Vivekajnaha means those who have discriminative knowledge. But still they use it interchangeably. Okay. So that is the prasiddham laukikam nyayam vadati iti, means in the loka, the Satyam, whatever is said in the Shastra, is also known as Dharma. Similarly, conversely, what tatha viparyayena dharmam va laukikam vyavaharam vadanta mahuhu. So those who talk about the actual interactions, the behavior, what is to be done, okay, in the world, that they call it as Satyam, Satyam vadati. because it is not something separate from what is said in the Shastra, different from what is there in the Shastra. It is in accordance to the Shastra. So Shastra anapetam vadati iti. So Satyam vadati means really what they are saying is even the behavior is not something different from what is said in the Shastra. It is in accordance to the Shastra. So if your behavior is in accordance with Shastra, that can be called as Satyam. Similarly, whatever is said in the Shastra itself can be called as Dharma if you are anyway behaving according to that. So like this, these words are used interchangeably. But anyway, the idea is what? Etad yeduktam ubhayam nyayamanam anushtiyamanam cha. So Bhashyakara here makes the difference also. He says, what is known from the Shastra is Satyam. And if you follow it and act according to that, that is the Anushtiyamanam. That is the part where you are following whatever is said in the Shastra. Then it is called Dharma. So Nyayancha Nyayamanam Anushtiyamanancha Etad Dharma eva bhavati. That is all Dharma only. Tasmat sa dharmaha Jnananushtana lakshanaha. So the Dharma itself is what? Twofold. Because Dharma, first you have to know what is Dharma. And there itself there are confusion can be there, correct? There is a Dharma Sankata and all we say. That's what. But as I have told even in some other class, the important thing is what? Even if you don't know Dharma, what is Dharma? You have the responsibility to know that. So you cannot claim ignorance as a defense. If you are confused, you go and find out what is Dharma from some reliable sources, from your guru, from your elders of your family, whoever it is, even friends in some cases. Those who will give you advice, proper advice, keeping in view what is Dharma, and also not keeping in view their own some benefit for themselves. Okay. So those who do not have any conflict of interest and those who are interested in establishing Dharma, from such people only you have to take advice also. You can't take advice from anybody. So anyway, so here Dharma is Jnana Anushtana Lakshana. So it is characterized by knowing what is said in the Shastra and also acting accordingly. So Shastra Jnan Itaranscha. So the Dharma which is characterized by in this way, so that is the one Sarvaneva Niyamayati. That is the one which controls everybody, whether you know the Shastra or you do not know. Because even those who do not know Shastra, they simply follow others who are there, correct? Whoever is Sreshta. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says, why is he doing everything still? He says, in this all these three lokas, I do not have anything to achieve. He says, Bhagavan says, okay. Trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam, he says. So I don't have anything to gain. Okay, or I don't have anything to lose also. In all these three worlds, in the entire universe, I do not have to gain anything, nor do I have to get rid of anything. I am already complete, full. I am Purnaha. Okay. I am totally satisfied with myself. So I don't have to gain anything or give up something. But still, Vartayevacha karmani. He says, still I am doing karma, I am doing whatever. See, he has come as a Raja there, correct? Krishna. And so he has to protect the Raja Dharma. He has to lead his life in keeping with Raja Dharma. And he has to do certain things. And he even gives examples of Janaka. Janaka was a king, but Janaka also was a jnani. And in fact, Janaka will come later on in Brihadaranyaka. Janaka is a main character. Yajnavalkya and Janaka are the main characters in Brihadaranyaka itself. Later on, we will see. So, Janaka, people like Janaka were doing karma. And whatever they are doing, yadyad acharasi shreshtaha tattadeva itaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokas tadanu vartate. Like that, there is a verse in Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter. So, yadyad acharati shreshtaha, whatever is done by the Shrestha Purushas, whoever is looked upon as leaders and all that. Tattadeva itaro janaha, others also will do that. So yatha raja tatha praja also there is a saying. So however, whatever the powerful people are doing, like kings are doing, others also will follow that. Like that, whether you know the Shastrartha or not also, everybody is controlled by this dharma only. Tasmat sa kshatrasyapi kshatram. So the dharma is the one who controls even the kshatriyas. Kshatrasyapi kshatram. It is the kshatriya of the kshatriya. Ataha tad abhimanaha avidvan tad vishesha anushtanaya brahma kshatra vit shudra nimitta vishesham abhimanyate. So now Bhashyakara again connects it with the Avidya Sutra. So he says, what does Bhashyakara say here? The Avidwan who identifies himself, okay, with dharma also, and he wants to follow dharma. So he identifies himself as somebody who wants to follow dharma, and to follow that he also has to have other identities, the Varna identity, because leading a life of dharma means you also have to have this identity with reference to your Varna and Ashrama. So all your karma which you are supposed to do are all derived from these identifications only. So that also they have this identity, and these are all ignorant people. Those who are ignorant, those who do not know the self as Brahman, they take up all this identity. And that is natural also. Tanicha nisargataha eva karma adhikara nimittani. So all this Varna and Ashrama identity is natural, and they are the ones which determine the karma adhikara. Okay, they are the nimitta for the karma adhikara. Your qualification to do a particular karma is dependent on your Varna and Ashrama. Like this, Bhashyakara finishes the Bhashya here. Now the next Vakya 1415 is very, very interesting. Again, we'll quickly see the meaning here. Tad etad brahma kshatram vit shudraha tad agnina eva deveshu brahma abhavat brahmanaha manushyeshu kshatriyena kshatriyaha vaishyena vaishyaha shudrena shudraha tasmad agno eva deveshu lokamicchantaha brahmanaha manushyeshu etabhyam hi rupabhyam brahma abhavat. Okay, so here what the Upanishad is saying is, so till now the Varna Srishti amongst the Devas was talked about. Now the Varna Srishti amongst the Manushya also it is talking about, the Upanishad. So it says Tad Etat Brahma, this, that Brahma, which is this Brahma means that Brahma which was previously discussed and which is still under discussion, correct? This Brahman, which alone became what this Tad Etat is referring to Param Brahma, but that alone became this Brahmana Jati also amongst the Devas, and Kshatriya Jati, Vaishya Jati, Shudra Jati and all that. Okay, so, and how did it become that? Amongst the Devas, by becoming Agni, it became the Brahmana Varna, Agnina Eva Deveshu. So amongst the Devas, by becoming the Agni or manifesting or projecting Agni, manifesting as Agni, the Brahmana Varna it became. Okay, Brahma Abhavat. Okay, Brahmanaha Manushyas. And similarly, amongst the human beings, by becoming the Brahmanas. Okay. And again, when they became the Brahmanas amongst the human beings, again the Brahmana Devatas are the Adhisthana Devatas for those Varnas amongst the human beings also. Okay. Similarly, it became the Kshatriya Devatas like Indra, and amongst the human beings also, that same Brahman became Kshatriya Varna. And again, Vaishya Devatas, Vaishyena Vaishyaha. So by having the Vaishya Devatas as the Adhisthana Devatas, even among human beings, you have Vaishya Varna people are there. Similarly, Shudraena Shudraha, by having the Shudra Devata, the Prithvi Devata as the Adhishtana Devata, all the people who are there here serving others. So, in this manner, what Tasmad Agnav eva Deveshu Lokamichante Brahmanaha Manushyeshu. So, here again, amongst all this Varnas, both amongst the Devas and the Manushyas, the Upanishad is showing the Brahmana Varna as exalted. Okay, here you can say, because amongst the Devatas, without Agni, you cannot attain anything. Okay, because all other Devatas also receive their Ajya. The whatever offering we make, we give it to only Agni, correct? Agni only is supposed to take it and distribute it to everybody else. So through Agni only, even if you want to go to some loka, you want to become a Devata and go to a particular loka, Swarga loka and all that, without Agni, it is not possible normally. So you have to, so those who are desirous of going to lokas and be amongst the Devatas, they have to do it only with the help of Agni. So Agni is exalted amongst the Devatas. And Agni being a Brahmana Devata, the Brahmana Varna also is exalted. Similarly, amongst the human being, if you want to attain amongst the human beings also, people want to become Brahmanas. Manushyeshu Brahmanaha. Okay. So like this, that is because also Bhashyakara will explain. The Brahmanas, for everybody else, Agni is important. But for Brahmanas, even without Agni, they can attain Loka. Okay, they can go to Swarga Loka only by doing Japa. And Bhashyakara will quote Smriti also here, we will see that. But because Brahmanas are considered to be exalted, people want to become Brahmanas here. So, Etabhyam hi Rupabhyam Brahma Bhavat. So, this Brahma became, in this form only it became, okay, all these different Varnas. So, after creating all these things, this Brahman became as Agni amongst the Devatas and Brahmana amongst the Manushyas. It attained all these forms and different rupa. Okay. Then this is the very important point. So up to this is all only Avidya Sutra, you can say. Okay, so people want to go to different loka, or people want to become Brahmanas, and again after becoming Brahmana also again you want to go to some loka only. So if you are only interested in karma phala and you want to gain lot of punya, so you do lot of karma, gain lot of punya, and then you want to go and enjoy Swarga Loka, you go to some loka. Loka, again the word is very interesting. A field of experience is normally understood as a loka. Of course, loka means world also we give a meaning, or heavenly world or heaven and all that. Swarga is called heaven in English, but we don't even have to translate it because our description of Swarga is different. Some people's description of Swarga is totally different. So why do you want to use, or we should not even call it Swarga. They call it some other word, but in English everything is called heaven. So the heaven description of different theologies are different. So we don't have to use the word heaven. Swarga here means the Devas are there, and Devas are Paroksha Priyaha. They can just enjoy things by indirectly looking at it. They don't even have to consume it. See, for us to enjoy something, we consume it. But Devas need not. They are Paroksha. Indirectly, they can consume it without exhausting it, something. But still, being a deva, your punya is getting exhausted. Understand that? It is all punya janma. Purely you are exhausting your punya, and once the punya is over, you have to come back. Kshine punya martya lokam vishanti. Like that it is said. Even in Bhagavad Gita also, Brahma Bhonal Lokan Punaravartinorjuna. So right from Brahma Loka onwards, all lokas are all Punaravartinaha, means what? You have to return back. There is no permanent, there is no eternal heaven. Understand that. Eternal heaven itself is actually illogical. That which is eternal should already be there, correct? So eternal cannot begin in time. If something begins in time, it will end with time. Or it will end in time. So nothing can be eternal which begins. And if it is really eternal, it should already be there. So you cannot go to Swarga and say that it is eternal and all that. That is silly. That's not even logical. It is not believable. Therefore, here the Upanishad is going to again talk about that, to show that all karma phala is limited. It will come to an end. And if you want something which is eternal really, okay, which you can never lose, which can never be exhausted, because all punya will be exhausted finally. But if you want something which is inexhaustible, which is limitless, then you have to know yourself as the limitless. So that's what it is going to point out now. So that we will see. So ata yo hava asmal lokat swam lokam adrishtva praiti. So let us say here, yaha, the one who asmat lokat, from this loka, swam lokam adrishtva, not seeing one's own loka. Means here, that's what the loka word in Brihadaranyaka is used in two meanings. Lokyate iti lokaha, okay, that which is experienced, a field of experience or an object of experience itself can be called as loka. But here swam lokam also is used. Swam lokam means here your reality, in fact. Okay, the reality of the subject is called swam lokam. So the word loka is also used for the nature of the subject in this case when it is saying swam lokam. So here it is saying, correct, swam, this part, swam lokam is there. Swam lokam adrishtva praiti. That means this person may be a dharmika, he has done lot of karma, gained lot of punya, but did not know oneself. Still an ajnani, has left this world. Then what? Sa enam aviditaha na bhunakti yatha vedaha. Okay. Van anuktaha anyadva karma akritam yadiha va api anevam vid mahat punyam karmam karoti iti mahat punyam karma karoti तद्धस्य अंततः क्षीयते एव आत्मानम एव लोकम उपासीत. So here what the Upanishad is showing is the one who lives without knowing the reality of oneself. So what is the problem with such a person? Okay, so this person is desirous of gaining pleasant experiences. Let us say everybody wants happiness, pleasant experience and all that. So does lot of punya karma, but does not know oneself. So sa yenam aviditaha, the one who does not know this Brahman, okay, na bhunakti, so does not enjoy, okay, means it does not protect him. So you may have done lot of karma, okay, or and that because of that you have punya, let us say. So generally we say dharmo rakshati rakshitaha, Rakshitaha dharmaha rakshati. There is a saying. And dharma here is really punya only. So if you gain lot of punya, or a protected dharma protects you. Rakshitaha dharmaha rakshati means if you protect dharma means if you follow dharma, that will protect you, that will give you good gati, essentially good state, whether here or hereafter, you will have a pleasant life. But even that saying, you cannot take it as an absolute thing. That is also relative only. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. The dharma protects you, no doubt, but even that is relative. It's not absolute. That protection will not last forever. That protection will come to an end once the punya is over. Okay, so without knowing yourself, your nature as Brahman, as the limitless, if you leave this world and go anywhere, even to Swarga Loka, Brahma Loka, wherever it is, still you will not have any protection. Okay, so you desire and do karma, okay, and gain mahat punyam also. Mahat punyam karma karoti api anaevam with means the one who does not know in this manner, that aham brahmasmi iti, in that manner, one who does not know, okay, for that person, what even for that person, tadhasya antataha kshiyate. So for him also, anyway, in the end, what? All this punya will be exhausted, so it cannot protect him forever. Therefore, what? Therefore, Upanishad is telling you, Atmanam eva, okay, lokam upasita. This is again, it is repeating the same Vidya Sutra only. 147, Atma ityeva upasita is the Vidya Sutram. The same thing here, Atmanam eva lokam, because here it is talking in terms of loka. Instead of going to some other loka which is different from yourself, which is all anyway limited only. It's all results of action, which is anyway limited. Instead of that, you seek only your Atma itself, which is the loka for you. Okay, swam lokam, one's own loka, means seek your own self, its reality, its nature. That alone you know. So saya atmanam eva lokam upaste naha asya karma kshiyate. So the one who seeks this Atma and knows it, for that person, the karma never exhausts, means it is unlimited. You know yourself as the limitless, then there is nothing to be exhausted, correct? For others, whatever karma they do, all that karma, okay, will get exhausted. But for yourself, if you know yourself as the limitless, then there is no, that can never be exhausted. You have gained the limitless. Okay, so that is what again Upanishad is pointing out here. It is trying to give you what is known as Purushartha Viveka. This is what we say. Normally everybody is seeking only Artha Kama and Dharma. Dharma Artha Kama only most people are seeking. Artha Kama even animals are seeking. Okay, pleasure and security. Everybody wants pleasure and security. That even animals are seeking. Human beings also have here and hereafter. So Dharma, Punya Papa also they are seeking. So they lead a life in accordance with a certain Dharma, what is said in the Shastra, what is right, what is wrong. Accordingly, you lead your life. But all this is not enough. It's not going to solve your fundamental problem. So if you want to solve your fundamental problem, you have to know yourself, your reality. And once you know that, that can never then change. That result is limitless. It can never be exhausted. That here karma, Means really there is no real karma for you. You are not even a karta, but still the Upanishad is using the same language which is used for the going to loka also. So the going to loka is because of some good karma from punya karma means. But even that punya karma, mahat punyam, it says, great punya karma also will be exhausted. But knowing yourself, this punya karma never exhausts. That is the beauty here. Karma na kshiyate. So asmadhyeva atmanaha yadyat kamayate tat tad srijate. Not only that, for this person, the jnani, whatever the jnani wants, everything is fulfilled, it seems. Okay? And it's all created. The Upanishad is giving, this is more like an Arthavada, it's a praise of jnana and a jnani. Whether we can take it literally or not, but the idea is a jnani is not dependent on fulfilling anything to be happy. Jnani is Atmanyeva Atmana Tushtaha, like this in Gita, Bhagavan says. The one who is happy with oneself, does not have to gain anything, does not have to get rid of anything. One who is complete, Purnaha, such a person, even if some desire is there, it will get fulfilled. Okay? Because that desire also is impelled by only Sattva Guna, it will be in general beneficial to everybody. So whatever this jnani desires, yadyat kamayate, tat tat srijate, all that is created, it says. Okay. So whatever this jnani desires for oneself, atmanaha yadyat kamayate, tat tat srijate. In fact, in Taittiriya Upanishad also, this same idea comes slightly differently. So, Brahma vida apnoti param tadesha bhyukta satyam jnanam anantam brahma yo veda nihitam guhayam parame vyoman so oshnute sarvan kamaan saha. So this initially it talks about what is Brahman and all that. That one who knows that Brahman, okay, yo veda nihitam guhayam, the one who knows this Brahman in one's own intellect, mind, for that person, what is the result? Saha ashnute sarvan kaman. This person gains all his desires. Saha means there yugapad, at the same time, instantaneously, immediately. You don't have to wait. You don't have to fulfill your desire one by one, serially. Okay, this is parallel processing, you can say, or whatever, parallel processing to the maximum extent. At the same time, all your desires are fulfilled because you are no more a desirer. That is the beauty here. You are not a karta bhokta anymore. There is nothing to be desired. You are the total, you are complete, you are full, you do not lack anything, you are the limitless. So that is said in terms of the desires also. Even so, that is why again all this is said only to give you Purushartha Nischaya. Because by choosing moksha over everything else, it is as though you have gained everything else also. That is the idea. Instead of going for all other things, moksha is the only Purushartha which makes sense. Really, for the ones who are discriminative, one who has viveka, for the person who has discriminative knowledge, one who has analyzed the experiences, one who has analyzed what can be achieved through karma phala, for that person, the only pursuit which makes any sense, okay, is moksha. Those who want to really be happy, the only thing they have to seek is moksha. So that is why, for those who have this viveka, they are not really doing any tyaga. Understand this. Others may think that this person is doing, as he has become sannyasi, he is doing tyaga. But sannyasi really, if the sannyasi himself thinks that he has done tyaga, he has given up and all that, then really it is not sannyasa. Understand that. For the sannyasi, the sannyasa life itself is the greatest happiness. giving up everything is the greatest happiness. Because those things do not really matter. In fact, whatever matters to pursue that, you are actually giving up all distractions, in fact. So the sannyasi himself or herself cannot think that he has done some great tyaga and all that. If you think like that, that's why my guru even used to say something very interesting. He'll say, if somebody comes and asks me, he himself is a sannyasi, but if somebody comes and asks me whether I have to take sannyasa, what will be my advice? He used to say, I will always say, don't take sannyasa. I will discourage. Why? Because the one who really wants to take sannyasa will not even come and ask me that. Is that clear? If you have clarity, you should not be even asking that question. So that is how it is. So really, pursuing moksha means you are not really giving up anything, you are not doing any tyaga and all that. That is the only real way of becoming happy. If you really want to be always happy, then the only pursuit which makes sense is moksha, because all other things will come and go, it will all get exhausted. So that's what Upanishad says, and it is also equivalent to fulfilling all your desires, whatever may be it is. So pursue moksha, that is the idea here. Okay, let us quickly see what Bhashyakara says. Tad etat chaturvarnyam srishtam. So this Brahman created all these four varnas. What are those? Brahma, Kshatram, Vitu, Shudra iti Uttarartha Upasamhara. So this is again repeated here to complete whatever was begun. Okay. So Yatad Srashtra Brahma. So that Brahman, which is the creator, the Param Brahma we talked about, which created everything, which was Avyakrita, then it, or which was undifferentiated, became differentiated, entered itself into the Srishti and all that, that Brahman. Tad Agnina eva na anyena rupena deveshu Brahma Brahmana jatihi abhavat. So that Brahman initially what? By becoming this Agni only, in the form of Agni only, it attained Brahmana jati or became the one with Brahmana Varna amongst the Devas. Okay? Not in any other form, but only by becoming Agni. And in the human beings, Brahmanaha Brahmana Swarupena, okay, amongst the Manusheshu Brahma Bhavat. So amongst the human beings, by becoming the Brahmana Varna, it attained the Brahmana Swarupa. Amongst the Devas, it attained the Brahmana Swarupa by becoming Agni and not other forms. Then, so initially only the Brahmanas were there, and then but they did not flourish, correct? We saw already. So then other Varnas also were manifested, projected, created, whatever you can use. So then it attained change, it modified, it attained certain modification changes. Itereshu varneshu vikarantaram prapya. So having attained some changes, modification, it became other varnas. Like Kshatriyena, Kshatriyaha bhavat. So with by becoming all the Kshatriya devatas, amongst the devas it became Kshatriya. So Indradi devata adhishtitaha. Also amongst the human beings also, it became Kshatriya by keeping all these Indra devatas as the Adhishtana devata for those people. Okay, Adhishtana devata means they represent the phenomenon, any phenomenon looked upon as a phenomenon in this world. Ishvara looked through that phenomenon is called a particular devata, and that devata is called the Adhishtana devata, means that devata is the basis for that phenomenon, you can say. Okay, so for one to be a Kshatriya, what is the basis for that? Means you are now having Indra as your devata or Varuna as your devata. All the Kshatriya devatas are the basis for a group of people to be Kshatriyas. Like that it is looked upon. Okay. Similarly, Vaishyas also, Vaishya devatas it became, and amongst human beings also, the Vaishya people who have the Vaishya devatas, like Vasus, Adityas and all as their Adhishtana devata. And Shudras also were created with the Shudra devata, Pushan or Prithvi devata. Here Shudra Varna people are also there with the Prithvi as their Adhisthana Devata. So Yasmat Kshatradishu Vikarapannam. So to become Kshatriya and other Varnas, it had to change from being the Brahmana. And Agnau Brahmanaha Evacha Avikritam Srashtu Brahma. So this creator, this Brahman as creator, first became Brahmana. Then only it became all other things. So initially it was Brahmana without attaining any change. First it manifested as only the Brahmana, then only it attained certain changes and manifested itself as other Varnas. Therefore, what Tasmat Agnav eva Deveshu Devanam Madhye Lokam Karma Phalam. So if you want to become amongst the Devatas, if you want to attain Karma Phala and attain certain Loka, okay, so you have the desire, Ichanti, you have to depend on Agni only. Okay, Agni Sambaddham Karma Kritva ityarthaha. Agnav eva means here Agni Sambaddham Karma Kritva Deveshu. Amongst the Devas, if you want to attain Karma Phala and be amongst the Devas, you have to then do Agni Karma. Without that you cannot. So Agni is exalted. Like that we have to understand. So tadarthameva hi tad brahma karma adhikaranattvena agni rupena vyavasthitam. So therefore only what this Brahman, the Srashtra Brahma, okay, is there in the form of Agni. And Agni is the locus where all the offerings are made. Adhikarana here means a locus. So karma adhikarana means to do any karma. Agni is the locus in which you are actually putting all the offerings, correct? So the Brahman itself is there in the form of the Agni, which is the locus of all the karma, Vaidika karma. So Brahman itself, Vyavasthitam, means it is manifest in that form. It is there. It is present as the Agni, which is the locus of all the karma. And by doing karma using Agni only, you can attain karma phala and be amongst the devas. So tasmat tasmin agnau karma kritva tat phalam prarthayante ityetat upapannam. So this is now understood. We get this meaning that in this Agni only you do the karma by sacrificing whatever offerings and all you offer there, and that whatever karma you do, that phala, the result of that you desire and you gain that. That is understood now. Therefore, so this therefore what amongst the devas you seek Agni, or you want to be Agni. Similarly, amongst human beings, Brahmane, Manushyeshu, Manushyanam Punar Madhye. So amongst the human beings, Manushyeshu means here Manushyanam Punar Madhye, like that amongst the human beings, what? Karma Phala Ichchayam Na Ajnadi Nimitta Kriyapeksha Kim Tarhi Jati Matra Swarupa Pratilambe Naiva Purushartha Siddhihi. Okay, so here amongst the human beings, amongst the devatas, you want Agni, but amongst the human beings, you don't want Agni, etc. Or Agni Adi Nimitta Kriya Apeksha itself is not there for Brahmanas, he says. In fact, Bhashyakara will quote a smriti for that. So they just want to become Brahmana. Jati Matra Swarupa Pratilam Neva Purushartha Siddhi. So Purushartha Siddhi means that which is desired by human beings. To attain that, what do they want to do? Amongst human beings, you want to become a Brahmana. Why? Because the Brahmana does not even have any dependence on Agni also, it seems. That is his speciality. Why it is said like that, Bhashyakara will explain. So, to attain your karma phala, even if you want to go to loka, different lokas and all that, but amongst human beings, if you become a Brahmana, then Brahmanas do not have even any dependence on Agni karma. As a Brahmana, even if you don't do Agni karma, it is okay. But you have to still do one thing. What is that? You have to do japa. At least Gayatri Japa you have to do every day. Okay, that is very exalted. Just doing Gayatri Japa is good enough. Okay, that much if you do also. So that also is coming out in the Upanishad of all the places. So Bhashyakara, even for me it was very interesting to read it here. So here, so the Brahmanas do not have any apeksha or dependence on the Agni also. Agni Nimitta Kriya and all they don't have to do. They don't have to do any ritual based on Agni. So even without that, the Brahmanas can gain this loka, whatever karma phala, purushartha siddhi. How? So yatra tu devadhina purushartha siddhi tatreva ajnadi sambandha kriya apeksha. So wherever this devadhina purushartha siddhi is there, so you depend on the devas to attain some loka, means you depend on the Agni. Okay. But tatreva ajnadi sambandha kriya apeksha. There only you have to do kriya based on Agni. But if you are a Brahmana and you have amongst the human beings, you have become a Brahmana, you don't have even that apeksha, you don't have that dependence on the Agni. And for that, Bhashyakara is quoting Manusmriti here. Smritescha japye naivatu samsiddhi brahmanaha na atra samshayaha. So a Brahmana attains siddhi, means attains some loka, swarga loka and all that, only by doing japa, japye naiva to samsiddhyet brahmanaha na atra samshaya. There is no doubt in that. Okay, Brahmanas attain siddhi only. They don't have any other dependency. They have to do, but they have to do this japa. So kuryad anyan nava. Kuryad. So whether you do something else or not. So kuryad anyat. If you do something, some other agni karma also fine. Nava kuryad. Even if that brahmana does not do any other agni karma also, the brahmana attains some siddhi if that brahmana does japa. Lots of japa. And Brahmana is really Maitraha Brahmanaha Uchyate. Brahmana is really a friend of all. Why? Because the japa you are doing, correct? Even the Gayatri japa you do, it is not for yourself alone. Understand that. The Gayatri mantra itself, all Gayatri mantras will have Dhiyo Yo Naha, like that. Something like that. Naha will be there. So Brahmana is not praying only for himself. Brahmana as a community, as a people, their duty is to pray for everybody, the society itself. And every day when you do Gayatri Japa also, it is not for yourself. The Brahmana is praying that may that Savita Devata impel all our buddhis, make us choose the right things in life. Correct? That is what the prayer is. Naha Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. That is in the regular Gayatri Japa. And there are Gayatri mantras for all other devatas also, correct? So even we were seeing in Ganapati Atharva Shirsha also, the Gayatri Japa is there for Ganesha Gayatri is there. Okay? Vakratundaya Vidmahe Shurpa. No. Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Dantif Prachodayat. Tannaha Dantihi Prachodayat. So the Ganesha who is Danti, that Ganesha, may that Ganesha guide my intellect, my mind, whatever. Not just mind, Naha, our mind. Means when Ganesha is guiding or Savita Devata is guiding, Ishvara is guiding, means what? You make the right choices, because all our life is nothing but making choices, correct? Whether you are, actually there is no choice between right and wrong, but there are many choices between right and right. Even there is a problem. Sometimes between right and wrong also there is a problem because of your likes and dislikes. But in all these cases, may Ishvara guide me. in making the right choice. May Ishvara impel my buddhi, my mind. Like that, that prayer is there. And not only my, but our. That is what naha, it's not may means mine. Mama, may means it is singular. But always plural is used there. Our, naha. That is the beauty. So Brahmana that way is a friend of everybody. The Brahmana does not pray for oneself. Brahmanas are supposed to do japa and pray for everybody. Even when they do some puja and all that, even temples are all there for that only. Okay? Because everybody does not have time to pray. A Kshatriya is sitting in Siachen fighting war. Where does he have time to do anything? But there has to be somebody who is praying for everybody, correct? That is the only karma of Brahmana. And Brahmana also can become a sannyasi, parivrajya darshanatcha. So actually here, Bhashyakara thinks only Brahmanas can become sannyasi. But Vartikakara actually differs. He says anybody who has eligibility for Vaidika karma can become a sannyasi. So therefore what? Tasmat brahmanatva eva manusyeshu lokam karma phalam icchanti. So in this loka, people, amongst the human being, people want to attain brahmanatva, okay, as the karma phala. So, okay, the rest of the things we'll see, we'll continue next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.